Hello, today is May 16th. Today is Vlog Real Talk Challenge, day 10. Today is Saturday and it's a long weekend, so I wanted to be in this relaxed mode with the relaxed music. I will link the YouTube link for this music under the comment area below. If you're interested, please listen to it. The theme is piano and relaxed atmosphere, ambience. So today also I just kind of wanted to change it up a bit, not going through the topics but sharing my story about why I did start this project. And I think it's really important that people who knows me and who will be working with me or who will be having fun with me knows where I come from. And it also relates to my background and experience. So yeah, I would like to share that. So it started out, I would say from 14. I was struggling a lot. I did suffer a lot from discrimination while I was in Japan, because I had a multicultural background, which wasn't really common in Japan at the time. So I struggled a lot at school and also communication within my family as well. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere, so I basically left the house. And I started to work on my own. I wanted to be really independent. I didn't want to be controlled by anyone. So I went outside to start working, finding part-time jobs. So I did that for 3 years. Basically, I find jobs, but I get excited. It was fun in the beginning, but it's basically routine works for part-time jobs. So I soon get bored and I get less effective. So I kept changing work and nothing really ever satisfied me until I met this one company that was a startup company that wanted to export Japanese recycled, second-hand car to Indonesia. That idea really excited me, and it was my first job that I was able to utilize my English ability. So I jumped into that opportunity and I started to translate the car catalogs and also started to communicate with the business partner in Indonesia. But then that didn't last long because the owner went to Indonesia and soon found out that it was too high risk to do business in Indonesia. So he stopped the project and I basically couldn't continue working with that company. And that made me felt that where can I go? And I felt like I want more than this. And I started to think really hard about my life at the time. And for me, going back to education really wasn't an option at the point because my self-esteem was really low as well. But then I saw this news that 80-year-old man got into Waseda University. Waseda University is like a very, very prestigious university in Japan. It's like Harvard or Oxford, that level in Japan. So when I saw this, I felt like, hey, I'm still young. I was like 16, 17 at the point. And I told myself that I can do it. So I went home, say sorry to my parents, and of course they were worried about me. So they accepted me and I decided to go back to education. So I didn't want to go back to high school at that time because I was a little bit old. So I took a test for GED, which was GED is like a high school equivalent test that you take. If you take that, you're qualified to take test for universities. The department I was international business. So at the time, I really was interested in doing business on my own, but then I wasn't confident about my idea and also resources. But right after, around the time I graduated, I took this course at a human resource development company. They do a lot of trainings for managers, and I was able to make a lot of connections with business owners, like really, really good ethical business owners. And that made me think that, hey, in the future I should do business on my own and create my own company. And that was there. And but soon after that, I went to Taiwan. I wanted to learn English because it was my mom's mother tongue, and I wanted to understand more about myself and the culture. So I stayed in Taiwan for 7 years, got my MBA there. It was my first venture capital that I experienced. And what I really had in my core value is that companies should lead with core value instead of money driven mindset. So that's what I was doing, constantly try and error, communicating with my boss about focusing on training and also values. So that I did for 3 to 4 years, and I had an opportunity in Canada. I came to Canada, and then eventually I worked for a startup company as a general manager / shareholder, although that didn't go well. So I really got depressed. I had a time period of a year of not being able to be functional even as a human being. And but then I healed myself by hiring a personal trainer and also a business consultant, and take sessions to gain my confidence, which I did, and I started looking for a job. It took me 5 months to look for a job. It wasn't easy for me because I didn't have the permanent resident status yet. The application is on the way, and but then because I don't have the status, companies are pretty cautious about hiring people without permanent resident status or citizen status, which is pretty reasonable. But I thank God I found a job, and I started out in January. And the environment was great. It was super fun, and I was really enjoying it, although this corona influence hit the company, and I was laid off on April 10th. So this is a startup company, so there's no guarantee on being hired back, and that's the reality. So what happened, and also it's like 40% of unemployment rate in Canada, and basically it's just living in an unknown. And I think it's not only me that's going through this. So I'm really fortunate that I was able to receive government funds. I truly appreciate that, because in Japan, no foreigners can receive any government funds at all for individuals. But then fortunately I'm able to receive 4 months of funds, and now all over the sudden I have a lot of time, and something told me that it is now. This is the time for you to start, because I always had many ideologies and ideas about what kind of world I want to aim, or what kind of leaders I want to work with, or what kind of leaders I want to mentor. So there was so many years of time that I built up this value and ideology and everything within myself. Now is the time to connect that ideology with my daily actions. So I've been doing that since April, like mid-April. So now the company is on the way of registration. Now I am, planning, funds, fund planning, business plan, all those things. And doing this YouTube channel is one of the things. And also I'm starting to practice to do YouTube on Chinese as well. So every day I just do whatever I can, and I try not to overextend myself, because if I get drained, there's no point on doing it. So yeah, that's how it happened. And I guess 10 minutes is over now. So I'll see you tomorrow.